Hi guys, this is your girl Wakeji Kamore and welcome to Reflections by Wakeji Kamore. We are currently studying the book of 2 Samuel, which we are covering chapter by chapter. Today we'll be taking a closer look at chapter 11, and I will read the whole chapter from the NLT version, and then afterwards I will share my main takeouts. Please stay with me until the end, and don't forget to recommend this Bible summary to your friends by sharing this link. All right, I hope you're ready. Let's do this. In the spring of the year, when kings normally go to war, David sent Joab and the Israelite army to fight the Ammonites. They destroyed the Ammonite army and laid siege to the city of Rabbah. However, David stayed behind in Jerusalem. Late one afternoon, after his midday rest, David got out of bed and was walking on the roof of the palace. And he looked over the city. As he looked over the city, he noticed a woman of unusual beauty taking a bath. He sent someone to find out who she was, and he was told she is Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam and the wife of Uriah the Hittite. Then David sent messengers to get her, and when she came to the palace, she slept with her, and she had completed the purification rites after having her menstruation period. Sorry guys, I think I'm repeating. She had just completed the purification rites after having her menstrual period. Then she returned home. Later, when Bathsheba discovered that she was pregnant, she sent David a message saying, "I am pregnant." Then David sent a word to Joab, "Send me Uriah the Hittite." So Joab sent him to David. When Uriah arrived, David asked him how Joab and the army was getting along and how the war was progressing. Then he told Uriah, "Go on home and relax." David even sent a gift to Uriah after he had left the palace. But Uriah didn't go home. He slept that night at the palace entrance with the king's palace guards. When David heard that Uriah had not gone home, he summoned him and asked, "What is the matter? Why didn't you go home last night after being away for so long?" Uriah replied, "The ark of the armies of Israel and Judah are living in tents, and Joab and my master's men are camping in the open fields. How can I go home to wine and dine and sleep with my wife? I swear that I would never do such a thing." "Well, stay here today," David told him, "and tomorrow you may return to the army." So Uriah stayed in Jerusalem that day and the next. Then David invited him to dinner and got him drunk. But even then, he could not get Uriah to go home to his wife. Again, he slept at the palace entrance with the king's palace guards. So the next morning, David wrote a letter to Joab and gave it to Uriah to deliver. The letter instructed Joab and said, "Station Uriah on the front lines where the battle is fiercest. Then pull back so that he will be killed." So Joab assigned Uriah to a post close to the city wall where he knew the enemy's strongest men were fighting. And when the enemy soldiers came out of the city to fight, Uriah the Hittite was killed, along with other several Israelite soldiers. Then Joab sent a battle report to David. He told his messengers, "Report all the news of the battle to the king." But he might get angry and ask, why did the troops get so close to the city? Didn't they know that they were shooting from the walls? Wasn't Abimelech, son of Gideon, killed at Thebes by a woman who threw a milestone down on him from a wall? Why would you get so close to the wall? Then tell him, Uriah the Hittite was killed too." So the messengers went to Jerusalem and gave a complete report to David. "The enemy came out against us in the open field," he said, and as we chased them back into the city gate, the archers on the wall shot arrows at us. Some of the king's men were killed, including Uriah the Hittite. "Well, tell Joab not to get discouraged," David said. "The sword devours this one today and that one tomorrow. Fight harder next time and conquer the city." When Uriah's wife heard that her husband was dead, she mourned for him. And when the period of mourning was over, David sent for her and brought her to the palace, and she became one of his wives. Then she gave birth to a son, but the Lord was displeased with what David had done. Wow. So I remember at the beginning of this book, we said that the book is divided into 3 parts. There's the one where we have David's triumphs, and then we have one where there's David's temptation, and then at the end there's David's tragedies. So now we have hit the mark of David's greatest temptation, his blunder, his biggest scandal, his greatest temptation, which started with him neglecting his responsibilities to lead his army. When the army left to fight, he stayed behind, and in his idle walks, he fell into temptation. As a powerful king, David lacked nothing. As in, he had many wives, he had many concubines, yet he chose to take what belonged to one of his devoted soldiers, and then attempted to cover up these devastating consequences of sleeping with Bathsheba. Unfortunately, Uriah hakuwa anaingia box, so Uriah actually didn't go home to sleep with a wife. So now it was clear that the pregnancy was not Uriah's. So what did he do? Because I mean, his position, his wealth, his fame, his influence could not manipulate the circumstance or hide the truth. So David's sin spiraled, and then he devised a plan to kill Uriah and have him murdered, just so that he could seize the opportunity and marry Bathsheba. But God was not pleased with his actions. So the thing is, covering up the things that you do wrong may release you temporarily from accountability to others, but eventually you will have to deal with the consequences. So let's honestly examine our lives, and here are some questions that can help you. What steps do you need to take to avoid the current temptations in your life? Are you too idle like David was? Because angekuwa huko kwa ana lead his army, he wouldn't have gotten into temptation. He was just idle. You see, I mean, the guy was sleeping even in the afternoon. So he was just idle. So what steps do you need to take to avoid current temptations in your life? Do you need to stop going to spaces that you find yourself in? Do you need to stop hanging out with some people? Do you need to, what do you need to do to avoid the current temptations in your life? In what ways have you attempted to hide your sin? In what ways have you attempted to hide your sins? And what effects does unconfessed sin have on your life? What effect does an unconfessed sin have on your life? An honest examination of your actions, motives, desires requires viewing our lives through God's lenses of holiness. He desires that our lives bring him honor and glory. So let's take some time to examine ourselves and seek out the God already provided way out of the temptations that we face. Because remember, God says in his word that he will not let us get tempted more than we can handle. And in every temptation, he's already provided a way out for us. So let us seek out that already provided way out of the temptations that we currently face. This is your girl Wakeji Kamore, and this has been Reflections by Wakeji Kamore. See you tomorrow.